Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now we're just going to go straight into continuing from the steps that I mentioned in part 1 of this video. And if you haven't already watched part 1, I would suggest that you do so now before you actually watch this video, so you can get a gist of what I'm talking about here and also pick up on some of the tips that I've previously mentioned. Repetition is the first law of learning. Now stick at it and be diligent in your pursuit to being self-disciplined, because as previously mentioned in part 1, the art of self-discipline is really all about forming a new habit. When you're doing something new or starting out something on what I like to call the corrective path, you'll find that it's an uphill struggle before it starts to level off. A new habit usually takes an average of 21 days before it sets in, and about another 2 months before that becomes habitual. So don't give up on the first hurdle. In fact, don't give up on the 10th hurdle. Keep at it until it's ingrained in you and it's like automated. It's something that comes so natural, like second nature. It's part of you. And then you'll find that once you stick with it long enough, you don't need to be as self-disciplined in that area. Refer back to my first video again. So imagine a path that's been trodden so many times, and now you're trying to create another path. Well, it's not going to happen on your first walk down that path. You're going to have to take a couple of strolls, in fact a lot of strolls, before there's evidence that someone's been walking down. It's the same way as our brains. Imagine that as being your brain when it's trying to form this new habit. It's initially going to be hard and it's not going to be evident that anything is happening, but you will get there with repetition. Recognize temptation for what it is. I'm not even going to go into detail on this because I know that you know. Bottom line, remove yourself from the situation. And this is really hard to do, but it's so necessary. And I give you a little brief example in line with like my finances and money. Before this, I'm talking about before. If I wanted to go shopping, I would have a plan in my head that I'm going to spend XYZ on this. But once I got into the shop, all those plans just went flying out the window. I kind of just needed to get everything there, and I needed everything up until I got home, and I was like, what have I done? And this happened all the time, over and over and over again, until I put things into place to stop this. And I find now when I go in the shop, I have so much more self-control. I go into the shops and I'm very specific now. I don't need that. Or I find myself working out things in my head and saying, okay, do I actually need this? How many times am I going to wear this? Whereas before, I didn't take any of that into account. And I'm not saying things don't creep up, but I'm a lot more self-controlled in that area, especially with my finances. If you're looking at your account and you're not liking what you're seeing, you need to put things in place, especially when it comes to money. If you can't be trusted with money, you really can't be trusted with any other thing. So for those of you that are looking at potential future partners out there, check their money habits. In addition, eliminating the temptation, like completely, I think, yeah, this is linked to what I'm saying, also works. And a classic example for me was when I stopped eating pork. And I think like for 3 years now, going on 3 years, I hardly ever eat pork. In fact, I don't eat pork. If I've eaten pork, it's been a one-off. And I didn't stop eating pork for like any religious reasons or anything like that. It was a case where it was mastering me and I had to take control of it. I literally, if there's a pork addict, it was me. I was addicted. I had to have a bacon butty every single day. Something to do with bacon or sausage. It had to be in me. And I thought to myself, I need to put something, or I need to stop this before it takes over and affects my health in the future. So it was just getting too much. And it's not like pork is one of the healthiest meats out there anyway. So I literally went cold turkey on it. So for me, initially, it was very difficult. But now I have absolutely no desire for bacon, sausages. I don't buy it. It's not around me. And even if I go to the shop, I don't have a desire to buy it. If I go out and I see, there's no desire there. And I'm not saying that I can't eat pork. If someone invites me out and they're serving pork, I can eat it. But what I'm trying to say to you is it's not taking over, because I kind of eliminated it from my whole system, so to say, by getting rid of it completely. And now I was self-disciplined enough, let me say, self-disciplined enough not to eat or incorporate it in my diet like it was before. In essence, what I'm trying to say is you want to get to the stage where you don't have a desire for that temptation anymore. It's no longer a temptation for you. I can't stress to you how important this is. And to be honest, I was one of those people that didn't believe in it and I didn't want to hear it. But that might be down to the fact that I didn't want to be accountable to anyone, because that involves opening up and all your truths are revealed. And I've found that I go a lot further when I'm accountable to someone than when I'm accountable to myself. And it also keeps you out of trouble. I mean, if you've got a problem with spending, you might want to be accountable to someone. You might want someone to be checking up on you. But I'm saying this with caution because you need to be able to trust that person. You need to be able to open up to that person. And also know that if you can't open up to that person and if you're not honest with that person, there's no point in even saying you have an accountability partner, because you're just going to end up lying. You're going to end up lying to them and it's not helping you get to where you need to be. So be honest with yourself and do it for the right reason. Don't just do it because, yeah, I want to have an accountability partner, or I've got an accountability partner, but in essence, you're not actually accountable to anyone. You've heard the saying that you're likely to end up being like the 5 closest people to you, and the opinion of the people close to you starts to shape how you think and in turn how you live your life. So if people around you are self-disciplined and see self-discipline as vital for their life, you're probably going to follow suit. And the opposite is just equally as true. You need to not restrict yourself to certain people only. Open your scope, widen it, and relate more to other people that can get you that will help you get to where you're going, and people that you aspire to. I hope that made sense. That was a bit mumbo jumbo, but yeah, just be careful of the people you have around you. And obviously, if people are detrimental to your future, get rid. That's a non-negotiable. But I'm talking about, let me stop talking. I think you've got my point. And as I've mentioned in part 1, as of late, I have found this app so great, an app called Remente that I've been using, and it's been instrumental to helping me. Now, it might not work for you, but it's been working great for me, and I suggest that you stay tuned to my next video where I do a review on it, so I kind of break it down and explain about the app. But Remente, that app is wonderful. So until next time, guys, remember that it's one step at a time to becoming confident, and that's the key. It's step by step. It's a process. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't wonder why it's not happening now, because these things often do take time. It's progressive. Don't let people lie to you and tell you within 10 minutes, 10 days. No, it's a journey, and that's what life's about. You fall down, you get yourself up, and you press ahead. Anyway, guys, like I say all the time, it's said in love. It's all love. Bye for now. Whereas with to-do lists, there's a tendency that the least desirable